Well, I'm not going to delay this session any further, and we look forward now to introducing and hearing from Mr. Jim Fitterling, who is the CEO of Dow Chemical Company. So I'd like to invite Mr. Fitterling to the stage. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, and Your Excellencies and members and participants of this GPCA forum, and especially I'd like to say thank you to Dr. Sadoun for your leadership in GPCA and also for your presence globally. It's greatly appreciated by the industry, and we really appreciate your leadership on areas of global importance for our industry. Thank you as well for convening this event and for inviting Dow to share our thoughts with you. The GPCA has become, as you know, the voice for the chemical industry in the Arabian Gulf since 2006, and its respect has grown steadily every year. And this year's forum arrives at just the right moment to reflect on the progress that we've made and discuss the future of the Gulf petrochemical and chemical industry. As many of you know, Dow has been present in the Middle East for more than 50 years, delivering a broad range of technologies to our local customers across many industries, from packaging, building and construction, energy, and water. We're solution providers, combining the power of science and technology to create new products and new solutions that address unique challenges of this equally unique region. And we remain here committed to our mutual futures because of the outreach, the partnership, and the long-term view that so many of you have held for over decades. We're grateful for that partnership, and we look forward as the new Dow prepares to spin out from Dow DuPont early next year to continuing our close collaboration. I'm tempted to say that Dow's spin comes at a time of great volatility and uncertainty in our industry, and it does. But that would be true if our spinoff happens next month, next year, the year after that, or even the year after that. For as long as I've been in Dow and coming to forums like this, whether they're here in Asia, Europe, Latin America, or the US, it seems like we're always at one crossroads or another. Each event is advertised as the most pivotal time in our industry's history. It's either the year of transformation or it's the year of revolution within our industry. Or maybe it's possible that I've just come to too many of these conferences. But it's also possible that these conferences just reflect a resolute fact of our industry, and that is this: we're always faced with monumental choices. We're always at a time of great change and transformation. Margins are almost always in decline on aging products. Commoditization naturally occurs. Competition is always present. New entrants always arrive, and customers always demand more at a lower price. And the speed of these changes is only increasing. If it seems like we're always at a crossroads, perhaps it's because we are. In fact, for the younger attendees who are in the audience today, and it's great to see so many of you, those who are just rising within the industry, let me share with you some unsolicited advice. If you look at your company's future roadmap, and it is a straight, smooth line with no curves, no potential detours, no hills to climb, if it looks like that journey ahead is smooth and those markets are easy, then that is the time that you need to worry the most. Because you'll always have more options than you really need, and more choices than you can fully evaluate, and more opportunities than you could possibly afford to pursue. So the fact that we're here again, talking about transformations and change, should surprise no one. The one thing that does continue to surprise me about today's chemical industry isn't the change itself, but it's the rate of change and the pace of change and the way that that's occurring. In an industry that defined itself for many, many years with an 8-year ethylene cycle, for example, the rapid change we're seeing today is unprecedented as it is startling. Consider just the topics in this program: digitalization, the circular economy, mergers and acquisitions, Industry 4.0, and the fourth industrial revolution. And sitting around all that, and yet not on the agenda today, is the growing concern about free trade and the impact that that could have on each one of our businesses. Today it seems like we finally get a view of the next big thing, only to find out there's one more next big thing behind it, and then another one just behind that. And at some point, I think each of us has asked the question of ourselves, can we do it all? Or better yet, should we do it all? There's an old saying in the West, and I'm sure that you have one that's equivalent here, that goes like this: you cannot be all things to all people. When the winds of change come so fast and so furious, a phrase like that may seem comfortable. After all, if you can't be all things to all people, then you have the luxury to pick and choose which transformative trend that you will react to and which ones you'll simply let float by. Is now one of those times? Before you start spending money and time and effort to respond to each one of these major trends, is there a case to be made that you don't have to? It's tempting, isn't it? Let's look at a few of the biggest possible trends and transformations, at least the ones that are on Dow's radar screen today. And the first, and I think the most influential, is the fourth industrial revolution. So I'm pleased to see that you have several sessions dedicated to what some call the second machine age. Digitalization and artificial intelligence combining with biology, big data analytics, a proliferation of low-cost sensors, 3D printing, and the Internet of Things is already changing our lives and our businesses. The great promise of the fourth industrial revolution is that it will give us an even deeper connection, even deeper insights, and much different perspectives on old problems. Much of what will come from our ability to use big data analytics to target distinct issues and opportunities will happen in the form of reduced cycle times. For example, who would have foreseen our ability to bring greater additional value to agriculture by using better analytical tools? We're understanding now, down to the square foot, how weather, soil quality, pests, plant diseases, and even erosion patterns all come together at one point in time to impact the yield of a specific crop. And we're designing custom solutions. Yet, we still have a host of farm-to-table problems. One of the sad ironies of the world is not that there isn't enough food being produced, it's that a lot of the food that we produce is wasted, because the supply chain isn't yet efficient enough to get it from the farm to the table in a timely manner. And an inefficient supply chain means hungry people. But it also means an unnecessary added environmental cost. Imagine how much greenhouse gas emission we could avoid and just simply take out of the system if we could reduce food waste by even 25%. And how many more people we could feed. It seems that our industry, with its wealth of material packaging technology, is uniquely positioned to tackle this problem and directly impact the triple bottom line. When you stack on top of this a separate but closely related transformational opportunity, and that is digitalization. And here I would offer some more free advice. If you're a senior executive in your organization and you don't yet fully understand the difference between the fourth industrial revolution and the concept of digitalization, carve out about 8 hours with your IT department. It might be the most impactful 8 hours that you'll spend all year. Why? Because digitalization has the unique opportunity for companies to not only protect the investment that they've already made, but gain new competitive advantages tailored to their unique circumstances. A lot of companies, and I would put Dow right at the top of that list, are already down the path of digitalization and Industry 4.0. We're aggressively taking digitalization right down to the shop floor and immersing our plants with new capabilities: big data analytics, robotics, mobile platforms, low-cost sensors, process automation, and drone technology. All of these are combining to protect our physical assets and make our plants safer, more productive, and more efficient. They're also giving us new predictive capabilities, which is crucial if we hope to prevent unplanned shutdowns. Think about this. The average age of an ethylene cracker in Western Europe is 40 years old. And a single unplanned cracker shutdown can cost $1 million or more per day. I don't need the accounting department to tell me that that's a bad combination. So the question becomes, how much are you willing to invest in defensive predictive maintenance, sensors and artificial intelligence, and other tools of Industry 4.0 to keep that from happening? The real key to digitalization comes when we connect what's happening at distinct plants with the rest of the fleet, and then with the rest of the organization. To make the next huge leap, we've got to connect Industry 4.0 from our physical assets with our intellectual assets, with our workforce, and use those connections to serve our customers better, faster, and more efficiently. Combined with the Internet of Things, we can create new collaborative environments for product innovation and development. And I can even see a future, a not too distant future, where the chemical industry replicates what's happening in the rest of the world by creating new organic and fluid business models. These models won't be centered on physical assets like they have been historically, but on intellectual assets that allow us to very rapidly transform products and services in new and dynamic ways. It will give us new capabilities to look beyond our immediate value chains and create new ecosystems and new partnerships and dramatically new outcomes. Think of it as the gig economy for the chemical industry. I don't mean to suggest that traditional mergers and acquisitions will no longer be part of the industry's future. They've been here with us forever. As Dow prepares to spin off from DowDuPont, and after our own string of acquisitions and divestitures, I'm acutely aware of the potential for additional M&A activity in our industry. And as you may know, Dow is on track to exit the Dow-DuPont merger on April 1st. When we first joined Dow and DuPont, our goal was in one way very simple: use the already strong portfolios of Dow and DuPont, create three even stronger, more focused companies out of the two. And we're on the verge of finishing that job. Dow will be the first to spin out of this merger. We're on track to do that on April 1st with an extremely deep and robust material science portfolio. DuPont, with a strong focus on specialty products and a new agriculture business called Corteva Agrosciences, are on track to spin out their new entities on June the 1st. For us, this was an excellent way to maintain and even enhance our strong research and innovation engines, but get them closer to our customers and closer to a common core of our business. It's one of the best, if not the best, M&A activities that I've been involved with, because the end goal was to create stronger, more focused, and more agile companies. And that's been the compelling driver all along. It's been a great example of what a good merger exercise can accomplish, and I suspect that the industry will continue to do more in 2019 to pursue its fair share of even more M&A activity, both synergy-driven and scale-driven activity. But we also may see more of these fluid partnerships powered by new digital technology. And what may be the most interesting is to see how companies justify M&A versus organic investments in research and development and digitalization especially in light of the growing opportunities to collaborate more freely across the value chains with our new digital tools. The question might not be which investment is more profitable, M&A versus targeted capital investment, but which investment adds positive numbers to both the top and bottom lines the quickest. Our owners and investors will always want a return on their money, but increasingly they want that return sooner rather than later. And none of us should be surprised by that. It's a natural outgrowth, I believe, of the very rapid changes and the uncertainty in the global economy. All of these potential transformations, the fourth industrial revolution, digitalization, continuing M&A activity, are converging at the same time as one other big trend, a trend that is so big and enveloping that it has the potential to create a lot of winners and possibly a few losers. The circular economy, as part of the greater sustainability discussion, will be shaping our collective future as much as any other trend, perhaps even more. Consider this, the world population right now is at 7.6 billion people. It is 200,000 people larger today than it was yesterday. And it'll be 200,000 higher yet tomorrow. That's 200,000 additional consumers each and every day, all of them vying for resources that are limited by the very nature of our planet. And they're helping to create some other really big and really sobering numbers. To satisfy our growing population and our enhanced quality of life, every year we extract some 55 billion tons of biomass, fossil energy, metal, and minerals from the earth. For those of you who are good with math, that's almost 10 tons for every person on Earth. By 2020, our extraction of biomass will increase by 50%, reaching more than 80 billion tons. Every year, we dump more than 2 billion tons of waste. 8 million tons of that 2 billion, by the way, is plastic that ends up in the ocean. And all of that is creating a situation where we collectively are overusing our planet's resources by 160%. It's hard to overestimate the impact that that has on our industry. We're almost all too frequently targeted as the problem. But in reality, we are the most critical part of the solution. For years, the chemical industry worked hard to earn its license to operate inside our fence lines. Now we're being increasingly challenged to learn what we can do about how we operate outside the fence line as well. We see that in new regulations, we see it in new policies, in new restrictions on the products that we make and sell. We see it in new demands on us to change the way that we do business and help make the circular economy possible and make the world a more sustainable place to live. So let me return to my original question. Which of these developments and these transformative trends can you safely ignore? The fourth industrial revolution? We know what happened to those companies that failed to adapt to the previous three revolutions. They ended up in the dustbin of history. Proud, iconic brands that no longer exist. Digitalization? My guess is that ignoring this is the equivalent of the brick and mortar booksellers ignoring Amazon. That didn't turn out very well. And neither will ignoring the need to upgrade your entire company to take advantage of the new tools that we have. Here's the bottom line on digitalization. Someone will do it. Sooner or later, our entire value chain will be digitalized. Can you afford to miss out on that opportunity? M&A. It's been part of our industry from the very beginning. It will continue to be part of our industry. Those who don't engage in a regular process of shedding non-core assets, adding scale and technology when necessary, or bolting on new assets and new capabilities to make you more competitive may become the consumed, not the consumer. Of the four major trends I just outlined, that leaves only sustainability and the circular economy. And it would be arguably the easiest to dismiss. Do not make that mistake. As an industry or as individual companies, we could stick our heads in the sand and refuse to admit that we are part of the problem. Ignoring the environmental impact certainly won't make it go away. On the one hand, we would invite more and more restrictive regulations, more policies, and more control. And as we've seen with the plastics debate, not all of those will be sound policies or sound regulations. On the other hand, we can be part of the solution. And at the end of the day, that's the only option that makes sense. Who else but this innovative, science-based industry knows how to craft solutions that benefit mankind? And with our new digital tools, we're in a better position than any other industry to collaborate, cooperate, and innovate new products and solutions that make the world a better place to live, grow, and prosper together. If we want to see our industry continue its amazing record of growth, if we want to continue our role as the enabling industry that supplies the world with solutions, then we really don't have a chance or a choice on sustainability or the circular economy. Nor do we have a choice as business people of ignoring the potential for the tremendous sales and profits that come with being a truly innovative solutions provider. So I encourage you, especially when it comes to sustainability, to be proactive. Our industry needs all of your expertise, all of your energy, and all of your innovations if we hope to create a cleaner, safer, and more sustainable world for the more than 7.6 billion of us. Thinking of all that leaves me with only one conclusion. We can't participate in just one or two of these trends. We don't have the luxury to pick and choose. In a few days, I'll be in Germany with some colleagues there. And I know how they would react if we suddenly decided to ignore one of these big trends. They would actually have a phrase for it. They would call it a Faustian bargain. That is to say that we could take a shortcut today, but eventually there would be a terrible price to pay. The challenge for us is not in seeing this trend or any of the transformative trends that are changing our industry. The greatest challenge will be our ability to mobilize and tackle them all simultaneously. It may be the toughest set of challenges that we've faced, but we're scientists, and we're chemists, and we're engineers, and we're trained for challenges like this. And that's what makes our jobs so rewarding and our industry so rewarding. Trust me, you'll never regret taking on these challenges. Thank you again for inviting Dow to the forum, and we look forward to our continued partnership and collaborations with you as we all move forward to create an industry that's valued not only for the jobs and the investments, but also for the solutions that we provide. Thank you.